Welcome from my side also to this hackathon. Yeah, we just talked about building smart. I didn't know that we are a fancy company or a fancy association, but yes, I'm Thomas Glättli. I'm from Building Smart Switzerland. Basically, I'm a managing director there. I'm responsible for all our products and services, what we develop in Building Smart. And therefore, I'd like to take you on a journey today, a little bit, maybe not that deep in coding, but a little bit more what really happens on the circularity, what will come in the future, which has a really impact or a high impact on data, how we handle data, and how we structure the data. First of all, maybe not all are aware about our association. So we are basically the leading platform for the digital transformation for the construction business here in Switzerland. And we have quite a number of members, about 500 companies are members here. And we bring them together in a collaboration. We like to address the whole life cycle, so not only planning or construction, but really the whole life cycle, which also includes education, includes law, for example, or politics. And the most important thing is what we are bringing is the best practice. We develop best practice because there are so many questions around how can I do something, that we said, okay, we take the experts together, develop the state of the art which is currently available, and bring that to the community. How does it happen? We have a kind of a network platform. We call that domains. So we have about 350 people in these domains in different groups, working groups. And yeah, we gather and develop this kind of best practice together, but we have also kind of forums, large events where everybody can come together and see what we are doing currently. Another thing is we really like to involve companies, that they show what they have, what they are doing. So we really go to companies, do some site visits, and get their live, their current status where they are. So this is what we are doing with Building Smart Switzerland. I'd like to drop some words about circular construction, what happens at the moment. It's now a little bit more on a higher level. So if we take the whole European community, we see that the building sector is really has a heavy impact on the environment. So we have 40% of the energy consumption, and we have almost 40% of the greenhouse emissions caused by the building sector. So we have a huge potential actually if, everybody knows that by 2050 we should have net zero. This is really ambitious when I look what happens currently, so we have to speed up. And we try to explain a little bit how we could speed up in the future. Another thing is also, this is the statistic from Switzerland, the disposal. So the construction sector is responsible for about 70% of the disposals in Switzerland or worldwide. But the good thing, of course, is disposals, quite a large part you can, of course, reuse again. But still, we have here 12 million tons, which ends up in which cannot be used anymore. 12 million tons per year, only in Switzerland. If you put it up to a global scale, then you see what kind of waste we do currently. And this we have completely to change, meaning we have to go in a circular economy way, from linear economy to a circular economy. Yeah. So what did we do at Building Smart Switzerland? We started first actually with a white paper, because I think not everybody is aware what happens currently, what happens especially in Europe. I don't like to talk so much about Switzerland today because Switzerland is not an island. We have to do kind of the same what Europe is doing or the whole world is doing. And this white paper shows a little bit where we start actually from the global goals. And the most important is actually what happens on the EU Green Deal. So the EU Green Deal is really pushing forward. It gives really gives us a hard time because you will see later on we have some programs where they say it's not only 2050, it's 2030. We have to reach some goals. So we have a whole regulatory framework which will come pretty soon. And there we have to be ready on the data side. If we are not ready, then will be quite difficult. You will have a lot of declarations. So EPD, we just heard before, they will come, but we have a lot of others. So digital product passport, logbooks, and so on and so on. So a huge bunch will come pretty soon. So if we come to the product data, here we have to do something. I'd like to show you some possible measures how we can cope with this huge effort. So first of all, EU Green Deal has two packages. So one is the Fit for 50 program here. So this means we have to cut the greenhouse emissions by 2030 by 50%. 2030 is now, it's not far away. So we have to do something. And the EU regulation will be in place very soon. So we have to be aware what we have to do on a company level. So we have a significant impact on our side. And what you have to be aware is that environmental declarations, EPD for example, they are increased in terms of the requirements. And inside this Fit for 50 program, we have two very important regulations. So the new construction product regulation, new because it's already existing, but the CPR will have a high impact, and the EPD as well. So these are the frameworks. Another framework is the eco-design for sustainable product. Here, I'd just like to mention what it's inside the ESPR is the introduction of a digital product passport. And if we have a digital product passport, we have to talk about structured data, because otherwise it will not be possible to exchange the data. We have to have a common foundation for this data. So we have to work on that. And of course, fortunately, the building sector is a little bit behind besides other sectors, but also for the building sector, the digital product passport will be in place very soon. Yeah, why can we help? Because with data and digitalization is basically the foundation. So it's really the key factor that we can achieve these kind of goals in terms of transparency. Because what we see, major impact will have digitalization, of course, and as I mentioned, standardization. We have to standardize a part of our data, because otherwise we cannot exchange that. We need the full transparency over the whole life cycle. So it's not only just create or develop a product, bring it to the market. This was before, this was nice. Now we have to talk about end-to-end, cradle to the cradle. So meaning if I use a product in 30 years, I still have to know about the materials, about the impacts on the environment of this product. So we have to create now this data, which should still be valid in 30 years. Identification and traceability is also very important. We have to identify each product, and we need to identify this product still in about 30 years or 50 years. We have to trace it over the whole life cycle. So these are quite some challenges here. meaning we have to work with digital twins, for example, and we have to invest in repair and reuse. Yeah, there will be a lot of instruments, just that you are aware about the instruments which are calling. EPD we just heard before. We have the digital logbook and the digital product passports, which are really important instruments in the very near future. So this was a bit an overview what is happening in Europe and what is coming very soon. So you can download this white paper. Unfortunately, it's only in German. Maybe we'll do an English translation as well. So how can we try to be online with the speed we have? A lot of this standardization is not yet ready. So we are still talking about what kind of data, what kind of structures do we need. Our approach here on Building Smart and especially in Building Smart Switzerland is the so-called use case management. Use case management is a service we provided actually to Building Smart International. And here we capture really the best practice which is available at the moment. So this will help to better understand how we can go this way. The whole platform is basically based on a guided process, so you can really have a common language. You understand a use case in a very easy way because it's on a similar structure. And what we are bringing together is really the wide experience of a lot of already executed BIM projects, so that you have this experience inside. How is this use case management structured? Basically, it starts with text, with very simple text. So you have to define the content and the scope of the information delivery. We're always talking about what kind of information do we have to exchange. You have to delimit the use case, specify some dependency and so on. So this is just the text. So if you have if you read through that, you understand what is this use case about, and where starts the use case and where ends the use case. And then basically there's the core. So you have to define the process how informations are exchanged between the different actors. What should be exchanged? When should be the information be exchanged? What should be performed? And in what kind of format should be the exchange? It's not only IFC, or it can be a document or anything else. But you have to define that so that everybody understands a use case is kind of like a recipe. And based on this process, you define then the requirements of the information exchange, meaning in a non-technical format, means in a human-readable format. It doesn't help if you just jump into machine-readable formats. You have to understand what kind of attributes, for example, you have in a use case. And then last but not least, of course, you have to bring that into a machine operatable format, which is the IDS format, Information Delivery Specification, from Building Smart International. Let's jump into a use case, or let's say very easily explained how a use case should be built. So you have to define the actors of the use case. So you may have an investor, you have a appointing party, you have a lead appointed party, and maybe a delivery team. You bring that in a process map, these actors, and then you're going to start with the goals. As an investor, you will have some sustainability goals for your whole portfolio, and of course this will be later on defined then in the exchange information requirements. In the next step, you define the exchange requirements, what kind of information you have to exchange. And here we have another standard which is very helpful, gives really a clear structure. This is the level of information need. And again, you see here why, when, who, what, and how. These are the things I explained to you before in the process. And then the how, of course, is very detailed, where you say, I have geometrical information, I have alphanumerical information, and I have some documentation. And for the alphanumerical information, we of course recommend also to use the Building Smart Data Dictionary. We're talking about structured data, data where everybody can understand and can exchange. This is a foundation which is really helpful, and of course not everything is inside the BSDD, but it will be developed over the future. Once you have this exchange requirement, then the exchange requirements basically stands between the AER and the BEP, so BIM execution plan. So you can say, okay, I have a project, I have 5 use cases. These use cases, they have these exchange requirements, and then I have clear understanding between the appointing party and the appointed party. So that's basically the way you have to do it. And then, of course, you go into the execution. Somebody has to make the model. At Building Smart, we are always talking about open BIM processes, so we do not specific look at certain software, but it must be open BIM. And then you go in the final step into the validation. Validation, of course, means this is the future format, the information delivery specifications. And then once you have done your quality check, then you have the final approval. So this is how a use case should be built. Of course, it looks a bit different if you go into the details, but it's always the same, very easy to understand. This is an example of a use case. It's a model-based layout of reinforcement, for example. So these are the objectives we had on this use case. Then we created the exchange requirements where we could do the model. And you see here, these are the exchange requirements which are then on IFC. And in the next step, we created the information delivery specification where you can validate actually if the modeler did the right thing. So it's really a step forward for us in terms of quality with this IDS format. Yeah, what did we do, or where do we stand? We created for the Swiss Bau, which was an exhibition just a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 different use cases. Material passport, stock inventory, and lean deconstruction. This is just a start point, a beginning point. These use cases, they will be further developed now in this year, 24. And our use cases should always be reflected on a proof of concept. So we are looking for projects where we can say, okay, you have a current project where you rebuild a building, we can make a POC here on these use cases. How could one of these use cases look like? Very, very simple. So you have some roof tiles here with clays. Then, of course, you define the properties here. And then what you see here, for example, the roof tiles, they had a life cycle span of 60 years. Production date was 1950, so you have to deconstruct actually this roof. But shall we throw the tiles away now? No, we don't. We can use it maybe for other stuff. So you can go into storage, and then maybe you go in another project. And we have here on the Emponest building, for example, we build a wall with these roof tiles. And this means now you have another lifetime of another 30 years. So with easy things, actually, you can do extension of the lifetime very easily. this is just a small example. We will do much more, many more examples here. I invite you actually to join us. We are an association, and we need the community actually, which helps us to further develop the steps here. Yeah, that's from my side.